So episode 5 of Raising Kanan's final season dropped yesterday, and man, this season gets better by the episode at this point. I just got to watch an episode not too long ago. It's pretty late, so it's not going to be a long recap right here. Definitely going to be all over the place in this one, so if I miss any storyline that you want to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comments. Let's have a discussion. But that's it for anything all I got to say in the video. You already know what you got to do. Go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, follow if you're on TikTok, subscribe if you're on YouTube. And let's talk about this episode. So Rock finally exposed her son for taking out her brother in the first episode of the season. To Marvin, mind you, who obviously was not happy to hear this, then pulled up to Kanan's crib right after this stayed out the episode to put the beats on this man. I counted like 20 punches, 13 of which was right to Kanan's face. The scene where he like spits his blood on the wall and tries to grab the wall to keep himself up and just falls over anyway. That shit was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Like Marvin really put a belt to this man, picked him back up and dropped him on the glass table to close it out. Then said that biker boy you was looking for, he dead. Just like you gonna be one day. So now Marvin knows Kanan took out Lou. Juke knows Kanan took out Lou. So it's gonna be interesting to see their next conversation, because just before Marvin pulled up, Jukebox was trying to tell Kanan, hey, yo, I've been working with Detective Garcia. Don't ask why. We get more of why Jukebox decided to work with Garcia in this episode is because she wants to find out the truth of what happened to Famous. She's coming over to Kanan's house to let him know she doesn't believe that the feds were involved with it at all. Now, Kanan could care less at this point. He himself has had suspicions on what really happened to Famous earlier on in the season. So I definitely do think Snaps and Pops will go meet their demise before the end of the season. And now I'm thinking it's going to be by the hands of Jukebox. At this point in the story, she's a lot more invested in what really happened to Fame as opposed to Kanan, who it seems like has compartmentalized that trauma and is more focused on getting to this bag based on older Kanan's narration at the beginning of the episode. And then this will lead to a final conversation between Jukebox and Kanan where she'll give him this scar right here before fleeing New York for a bit before coming back, more than likely, because Ghost and Tommy do know about her. I would think she would be in Origins, but I don't think she's been announced to be in that series. So I really don't know what they're going to do about Jukebox's character going into that series. But I think if she does take out Snaps and Pops and whatever happens to Marvin happens to Marvin, because even Kanan by the end of this episode with his narration saying what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and when you get back up, you just got to get even. He's going to do something to put Marvin in a precarious situation. We've been trying to cook up a beef between the two characters since episode 3, where Kanan suggested that Marvin work with him, leading Marvin to have one of his many great moments this season where he tells Kanan, you will never be above me. I will never work for you. So I'm curious to see what kind of get back Kanan gets on Marvin once he's back up on his feet. Now, going back to Rock telling Marvin that Kanan was willing to take out Lou. The build up to this moment was great because Marvin's just confused why they focusing on one of Kanan's boys who's just riding a bike. Doesn't seem to know nothing. He's just a third-rate gangster. We really look back at this season and really look back at everything Rock has done for Kanan up until the point where she tells Marvin about what really happened to Lou. Constantly protecting him even when he doesn't believe that she's doing. Taking out D-Wiz, taking out Howard, not telling Marvin what really happened to Lou or anybody for real. Even in this past episode, keeping from her new business partner in Flossie what really happened to that federal judge. And the thing she gets for that is a dead brother and business being messed with. Now, Rock is not innocent in this by any means, even in this season, because nobody told her to hit up Kanan's corner as how she did, and I think it was episode 3. That was a choice that she made. That she really didn't have to, if we're being honest. Like, Kanan was cool with having business with Stefano while she's doing her thing in Manhattan. Now, he did pay for Drita to come over to his house in order to get more information on Rock and Flossie's new business arrangement, but that was more so him thinking ahead. He hadn't hit Rock's organization at this point. Like, Rock and Stefano, they definitely are competing for the biggest hater of the season. I can't be mad at Kanan for retaliating how he has this season, but I also can't be mad at Rock for finally coming clean on what happened to Lou to their brother as a result of Kanan's recent actions. More importantly, who he has chosen to align himself with. In this war, Kanan's chosen to go against the family, so why am I still defending him? And I like the conversation between Pino and Rock in this episode after Pino goes to have a conversation with Stefano. He's playing the middleman after understanding that Rock had a failed hit on Stefano in the last episode, telling her he doesn't really like that you put a hit out on him. Rock's like, I don't know what you mean. He goes to Stefano and she's like, yeah, you know, she said she didn't have anything to do with that hit. Stefano's like, she's lying, she's the play. Which leads us to their final conversation in this episode where Pino is saying, yo, Stefano's not gonna be too happy that you tried to get a hit out on him. I know you told me you didn't, but we all know that's cap. And his son Kanan, he's working for him and you not really that pressed about it. He could be leaking some family secrets, some bad information that you don't want out in public. You just let him rock. I'm not saying you gotta kill him, but if you're a good parent, Raquel Thomas, you need to discipline him. Are you a good parent or not? Joe Pant's performance in this episode, I loved it. There are death flags around his head now at this point. I mean, we are in the final season, but he even mentions it in this episode. That Stefano is more than likely going to try to get back on him. He's going to try to get ahead of it, but it is power, so, you know, we really never know. Wouldn't mind seeing Pino Bernardi in Origins, though, but I do think that Stefano is probably going to outlast him, and he's probably going to be in Origins working alongside Kanan and Breeze, but we'll see. I think it took everything that Rock has done up until this point in this episode with this conversation with Pino for her to decide to choose herself now and tell Marvin what really happened to Lou, not defending Kanan, having him really feel the repercussions of his actions behind the hard, heavy-ass hands of Marvin Thomas. Other things happen in this episode. We see Juke getting deeper in the game, enlisting people from her past life to help collect money to pay Garcia for this month in order to get more information what happened to Famous, which I think is great build up for Jukebox in the future. I know a lot of it's rushed, but again, Juke really didn't want to be in this life until she felt like she had no choice but to be in it, especially to protect her pop. We got Marvin linking up with Amber in this episode, which Marvin just be doing whatever the hell he wants. You could not have thought that linking up with Amber was a good decision. Again, we have not heard from these cops that questioned Amber in episode 1 in a minute. They could be watching you right now. She could have a wire on her for all you know. I just can't wait to see how Marvin ends up going down, because there's a lot of different avenues he can go down to lead to his demise, but we just got to see at this point. Matter of fact, if you made it to this point in the video, let me know in the comments, how do you think Marvin's going to go out? We get more developments on Jarita and Kanan's relationship, as well as Kanan and Breeze's relationship in this one. Kanan, knowing he's not Defcon's son, is still leaning into being Breeze's brother. And I do like their interactions throughout this episode. They definitely building a bond that I cannot wait to see carry over into Origin. See the fall off point in the relationship that leads to Kanan more than likely manipulating Ghost in a way, but he feels like he needs to take Breeze up off the board. On Jarita's side of things, we see she's been so locked through with Kanan. She's just been dubbing jobs recently. Flossie ain't like that. Told her she needs to lock it in this episode. Going to Flossie, we also learn more about her and her daughter. How she was in a bad relationship with this ancient dude. They got in a car accident. She died. He managed to get off scot-free. But then he ended up, just casually falling into some train tracks, getting hit by a train afterwards. Shit is crazy work, but accidents do happen. Flossie tells Marvin this, as well as the fact that he could pull up to a bar mitzvah that they have going on this weekend, I believe. He's over there to mend business relationships after everything that happened in the last episode. I know I was buying into the theory that Flossie low-key wants to take Marvin up off the board, and she's potentially connected to Tony, who Marvin was meshing with in season 1, which would be a reason why she wants to do that. But I don't know if that's the case no more. She generally seems to rock with Marvin, but who knows? I mean, we gotta see. Outside of Breeze and Kanan continue to mess with Rock's organization in this one before Marvin puts the beats on Kanan. We see Breeze watching Jeopardy in this one, so W Easter egg, if you know, you know. That boy Breeze love him some Jeopardy. That's all I got for this recap though. I give this episode a 9 out of 10. Did not like Marvin linking up with Amber. Like, that was very stupid on his part, but everything else was straight gas. We got 3 more episodes of these. Like, I'm not gonna hear the Raising Kanan theme song unless I play this shit on my phone after these next 3 episodes. That is crazy. The best power spinoff is coming to a close. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode, what y'all expecting to go down in the last 3 of the series. With that said, I've been your host, we've been entertained. We'll talk soon. Peace out.